Hi, everybody, and good afternoon, good evening, whenever you hear this program. I have a guest that I've had on here before, very exciting guy, loaded with a lot of good information. This is the Dave Emmons Show. And a matter of fact, Tom Althouse, he's my guest. He'll probably be acting as a co-host with me in the days to come. So we'll be working together on a lot of the stuff that we need to get out there to people, especially the cabal and what's going on with the communism, and it's just, we're going to be talking about that. But Tom Althouse, he's an award-winning playwright, and he's actor, he's a public speaker, educator, and he's multi-layered creative talent in writing. He actually wrote the Matrix, except it was called Immortals. And now it's funny that we have Immortals movies out now. He'll tell us a little bit about that real quick, about the crooked Hollywood, corrupt Hollywood that's in the cabal. So it's all cabal, and it's a little bit of aliens involved, deep state, and right now what's going on in the news media right now. We have a lot of crazy stuff. We have the CNN and the MSNBC. They're talking, and they're about being happy about Trump. They want Trump to be thrown in jail, and the Republicans are really pissed off. And so we have a problem in this country right now, ever since this raid. And I'm hoping you're tuning into this. And Tom Althouse, he's done a lot more. He's a musician also. I can just sit here and name off a lot of things he's done, but right now we're into the MK Ultra, the Deep State, all this stuff that's really hurting all of us that nobody is really aware of, and we're going to let you know. Tom Althouse, my guest, would you like to open up with something, a comment, and get the ball rolling?
Yeah, I just want to lay this up really quick. It's important I show this because we need to establish legitimacy and things like that whenever we go forward. Everyone needs to show evidence and things like that.
Right.
So it's easy to follow critical thinking with critical thinking applied. So this is the dated just before. This is 1998, December 1998. Here's the screenplay, since it backs up what you said. Bolted, sealed, copyright specialist and director, The Immortals, which was used. The letters were turned around to make Matrix.
Right.
This has everything in it. So this is not a dog and pony show. This is actually, everything's in here. It was whispering through art. Now they're saying it's a documentary. Yes, the Matrix has everything in it. Strategies, playbook, you name it. And that's what really went to the adaptation of Man in the High Castle. The idea, Germany being absolved, used, employed, and in this case, won.
Right. So, there's about 4 or 5 sequels right now. That's out there playing, and also they're developing new ones. There's a new movie that's come out. It's called The Immortals. And there's another movie. I got the title of that a while back, but I forgot about it. But it's something I'd like to see, because it's got some elements that you wrote.
Right.
They're taking your ideas and expanding upon them.
That's right, Dave. What's going on right now? The inside words. I get inside words. So I got contacts that'll contact me. A lot of times I will record them if it's something really blow away, and I take that license to do that.
Right.
I think it's important for the documentary team and for everything what we're doing.
Right.
So what happens is they'll tell me, yeah, you won the chess game. The cabal refers to it as a chess game. That's their language. This is part of their vocabulary. And so they're saying, you've won this chess game. You have the power now. So that's what they're saying. That's part of the reason what happened with Trump, Alex Jones, Tucker is now on the list. Right. They have the best-selling thing out right now is Terminal List.
Actually, Jesse Waters really opened up last night on Fox. He really got militant. I mean, he had Senator Graham on there interviewing him, and he had Senator Graham pinned to the wall, and he made Graham agree with him. He said, listen, we need to do more than just vote this November. He said, we need to take some kind of action. You guys need to take action in the House. Stand up and stand proud, and even walk out if you have to, that you're fed up with this crap, with this country being going to hell, and whatever. But you were talking about shadow banning a while ago, and also you're talking about you might even be raided. Or is that
absolutely.
something we want to talk about? Yeah,
I've been informed that I'm on the list. It's a list. They call it a list. So the cabal has a list. Now, the cabal is a compilation of different organizations. One of the biggest top organizations is the bankers and also the FBI.
Right.
And what's interesting is I've been calling for the dismantlement of the FBI. The FBI has no business in our country or the world operating at all. They're a rogue agency which is now used to profit for themselves and they want to make a legacy for themselves. And basically, they're on this new world, one world agenda. So basically, they're going out and trying to destroy and shut down anybody who might reveal what they're doing. And it's a nightmare. But what's interesting is in the original work, your main character, which is Jim Reese, which becomes Neo Thomas A in the Matrix.
Right.
Jim Reese is the main character in Terminal List. So they put the main character in here, which represents Neo and myself, as Jim Reese. So Jim Reese in this is a lower echelon CIA FBI department head. So I think it says something. That's what they were really concerned about.
And also you do have more screenplays.
Yes, I do. I have 15 more now. They're not in the house. And that's why I'm putting that out there publicly. They're not in the house. So when they come to raid us, they'd have to plant stuff on me. I've already been informed what they will probably stick on me in order to, because how they profile you and how they want the public to see you will be totally different things.
Right. What
So
the sheriff is going to probably do this to you.
They want the sheriff to come. They want the sheriff to come, and that's under FBI control. In fact, I have a card from the FBI, from the Sheriff's Department in Portsmouth, Virginia, right outside Pat Robertson's organization, Virginia Beach, Virginia. And they gave me this card, and I had dinner with FBI heads. They gave it over the dinner when I was working with the John Walsh group to do America's Most Wanted premiere. So they gave me this card. It says, please extend every courtesy to Tom Althouse. Now that's an oxymoron. It's just funny now. But that's what's interesting is the FBI was there when I was being groomed by Pat Robertson to be the head of the Christian Coalition.
Yeah, let's get into the cabal a little bit on this FBI. They're saying that Director Wray is a good Republican. He donates to the Republican Party. He was actually nominated by 3 Republican presidents in different jobs and duties. Trump nominated him for FBI director, and Trump said he'd be a good FBI director. And I think what's going on is there's been threats. He's been threatened to do what he's got to do through the Democrat Party. Also the deep state with what's going on. He's been threatened, or something's happening where he's changing and working for the Biden administration.
Right. We've got contacts that I have on tape contacts that are Disney attorneys attached to Disney. They're telling me that threats and rewards are what's implemented. Great rewards, great threats. Now, Robertson says rewards and honors.
Right.
So you've got people, they believe everybody has their price. So if you're the head of the organization, suddenly you're offered all this stuff and your family's involved too. You know, think of your family, they say. So I've been approached many times to be brought in and the chair offered. And I know the drill. I know how it's done. So they offer you rewards. They promise you, first it's all the sweet sugar. Then they'll start to tell you what if you don't go comply.
Right.
And so a lot of these people have transcripts of this stuff. And so what happens is, this is what a lot of people, they'll bend over and they'll go with the cabal. Now the cabal's not the Democratic Party. The cabal is a conglomerate of elite, wealthy, that want to maintain their wealth and their power. Democrats are definitely involved in that, of course. But you got Republicans too. The Republican Party is not a solid, cohesive party.
No, they're not.
Factions in it.
I call them chicken shits, actually.
It's a bunch of it. Yeah, you got different factions vying for power. It's ancient Rome. We're looking at ancient Rome.
Right. The
country's modeled after Rome and Greek society. That's what we have. That's why even our architecture in Washington is that. Right. And many of the government buildings are that Greco-Roman and Greco.
So what do you think about Ray? Do you think he has sold out now and he knows he has to go to where the power is at?
Absolutely. Absolutely gone. He is gone.
Yeah. So
not a good guy. Not a good guy at all.
He used to be, but not now. I guess that's
that's the thing. They think no, there's no way. Yeah. He's been promised the world.
Well, Jesse Waters was really extremely, I mean, he was really talking about, and there's been also Laura Ingraham on Fox. They were talking about, they were kind of like raising the temperature of people, supporters of Trump, and also other supporters, in which I don't want to mention names, because there's certain elements out there that are bad elements that'll do the wrong thing. We were just talking earlier that we don't want violence. We don't want them to go shoot up FBI buildings.
No, of course not.
Of that nature.
No,
I'd like for them to protest, stand outside and protest, or even gather around the DOJ and gather around the FBI building and protest and say, we want these crooks out of there. That.
If you employ guns and shoot them up, that is just stupid, because that is only working for them. That's only helping them. You're playing on their turf the way they play.
Well, we got kooks in both parties.
You don't do that. You don't do that. You play it by doing what you're good at. Truth out.
Right.
Organized critical thinking. Geniuses and gifted people coming together and saying, let's solve this problem. What do? We can outlast them. We can bring truth forward. What we have right here, just like, again, I'll hold it up one more time.
Oh, I want to remind the
Intellectual
people also
property.
that you will be on audio. This show will be on audio with
Okay. Oh, okay.
WWL
Well, I'm holding up
Radio.
the screenplate.
Yeah,
I'm holding up
and
the screenplay. You can see and verify for
okay,
yourself. This is the gold sealed, bolted proof. And
yeah,
there's the date, 1998, December. This is what was used on set.
right.
Matrix.
Okay.
Now, in this is worth 1.22 billion now plus that because of Matrix 4 out.
Wow.
So what's happening is you see this rush to capitalize on the material. And that's why you see all these like Immortals titles, the Matrix 4 rushed forward. You're trying to do this before we come forward with the documentary. Documentary come or not, we've got the proof that's going to come forward. It can't be denied. The terminal list is bringing forward Jim Reese, like I said, the main character in my piece. That's what Keanu Reeves saw on set. What you have in there is everything from the fake Oval Office before they have the fake Oval Office. They're so drunk on this screenplay that they're imitating in life imitating art. That's what it is.
It seems like they're all in lockstep, Tom, like Hollywood, the Democrat Party, and maybe even some of the rhinos and Republicans that have got money stuffed in the back of their pockets. They all have the same, actually, every day, even The View, these women on The View, they have the same key word that they use. And it's so one day, there for a while, it was racist, and then it's extremist. And they all use that same key word, every one of them, even the news stations.
Yep, that's right.
They're in lockstep where the Republicans aren't. And the Republicans are a little bit more, they don't like violence as much as I guess the deep state and them want to see violence from the right, because that's, like you said, that'd give them an open door.
No, it's the wrong place to be. You don't want to do violence. You definitely don't want to do violence. That's just stupid, because then you're just opening the door to them coming at you in every which way and in a legit fashion.
Yeah, I think they got this guy. The police chased him down, and he had an AR-15, and he was shooting at the cops. I haven't heard any more since I just looked up the internet news, but probably on the news stations they probably have this guy, either he's either dead because he had a shootout, or they've got him captured by now, because they did have him pinned in. But they said he had a vest on. He had a bulletproof vest, and he was, I guess, ready to get into the FBI and shoot it up. That's awful. That's an extremist that we don't want to take no credit for.
No, that only helps the FBI. It doesn't do any good to stop. Like, dismantling is what we want. Peaceful dismantling. We want them to stop doing the harm in the world. They're the ones that went to Ukraine. The guy who handles my sister. I mean, this shows you how much the FBI is involved in everything. I got email after text after text after email from people saying they were contacted that knew me by the FBI, sometimes for 3 hours on a Saturday. Wow. And so this is what's going on. And these guys are guys that are thugs with the groups, the cabal, will say, the FBI is coming for you. They're going to come for you. My sister brags about the FBI being with her under Brian Fitzpatrick. Look him up. Brian Fitzpatrick, Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania. Brian Fitzpatrick is also lifelong FBI from Hollywood, California, Wilshire Boulevard.
Right.
FBI office. So why is he rewarding my sister and turning her into a monster, where she is now vicious and trying to stop her, put her brother away on a 302, constantly lying, which is a federal offense, saying that I called her all the time, saying suicidal, angry, gonna kill people. What? That's not me, and I never call her. She became a monster, totally into spray on tans, maid service, trips, black tie dinners, engraved invitations with Ryan Fitzpatrick to Washington, CNN spokesperson, which is connected to Warner Brothers, owned by Warner Brothers. So my sister's part of the bad side. She's cabal. She's evil. She's become evil. So if the FBI is directly involved in my family, it should give a clue. You know, as a writer, they're employing whoever they need, even in families, personally, to get the job done. The FBI has just gone rogue. They've gone totally off the deep end. And what they did with Trump's home was just stupid.
That still hasn't been figured out. The affidavits haven't been released. They haven't talked about it.
I can tell you why they did it. The reason they did it, Dave, was they want to dirty his hands. They want to make sure that he is under then threat and reward status. So Trump is supposed to respond with, look, we by doing a wide 9-hour search, whatever, a wide net search, and all those agents, they're supposed to dig up anything from fishnet stockings to, or a plant. And then they'll say, look at this. And so that's to put dirty the hands is their tactic. They use their attorneys use this. They use that language. Their agents use this. So you dirty the hands to divide his power base and make him subservient to them. See, it's a way to control people. So that wide net thing, there's probably still trying to figure out a legitimate affidavit, legitimate reasoning, because they're not going to release it right now because they're not sure what they can say. If they find something, they can backtrack and go, we were looking for this and we found it.
Right.
This is why we went in, because we knew this was going to be there. We were informed. No, you weren't. You just found something on a widespread search, and now you'll say that's what you were sent for, and that legitimizes the search. The affidavit follows the search.
Right. Well, you know what they're talking about too. They want to stop him from running because they know he has a good chance of winning. And after this little stunt, if they don't come up with anything in the next couple of days, this stunt is going to really put him over the top. But here's the thing. Trump admitted he did not do enough to clean up the deep state the last 4 or 5 months.
Right.
He was afraid to make big moves because he knows Pelosi was ready for her finger in his face, and the Democrats were ready to can him again or try to can him again. And but the problem is, he said this time if he gets in, he knows better and he knows what he wants to do, and he's going to get rid of the deep state swamp people. And he said, General Milley and Pelosi were actually talking about, throwing Trump out of office in a coup. Yeah. They were actually talking about, they talked to Pence and Pence didn't want it. So Pence did do something right.
See, you just hit something really important, is that Trump knows our situation. See, we knew that he was not going to follow through totally unless we were successful with our situation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He knows our situation. He knows, I was even told he had dinner with my mom. So what's interesting is I've been saying on the air, not to be me, but the thing is, like, in my situation, I've been saying, dismantle the FBI. Isn't it interesting? As soon as Trump's house is hit, he's using the language I've used, dismantle the FBI. So what he's showing is that, yes, he knows our situation even further, and that is what he's waiting for. Success in our arena, then he'll come in. He was too afraid to take the overstep. So that's what's going on. So right now, what's interesting is the FBI did such a stupid move because now they galvanized us all and put a fire under Trump and his constituency. So now they're all using the talking point that I've been saying, dismantle the FBI.
Right.
So the FBI went too far by having Brian Fitzpatrick take my sister and then having Brian Fitzpatrick handle Ukraine. What happened to Ukraine was insane. They made it into a criminal state. The Rothschilds actually said, the one Rothschild said, that Ukraine is integral for the one world order. They need that criminal state. They put an actor as president. So what they did was they have, of course, yes, Reagan was president. But the thing is, in Ukraine, they made a criminal state where they can biolabs, everything else. That was done by the FBI getting rid of the infrastructure, the legal infrastructure, this protective realm of Ukraine, getting rid of Shokin. That's what Brian Fitzpatrick and Trudeau's man went to do under any corruption department, they said. They got rid of Shokin. They character assassinated him, got him out of office. Because why? He wasn't moving fast enough for what they wanted.
Right. It's like, no respect for life. We got 70,000 Russian soldiers are dead now. Can you believe that? They just announced that here.
Insane. And they make the Russians the bad guys. It's like the Russians are actually, they have been their nose tweaked by the Democrats and Biden's group and the FBI. They have, with biolabs placed throughout Ukraine, they are doing experiments with smallpox, everything else. And then they're doing it right in Putin's backyard. They're trying to tweak him. Putin had the grace to remain silent. And now I understand they're trucking in humanitarian aid to Ukrainian people who have been brutalized by a thug state, basically mafia-run, CIA, FBI run state.
We've heard all that, but the people don't know the real truth because the government's keeping that from us. We don't know exactly. What you said has been said by a lot of experts. There is some corruption going on there. There has been corruption in Ukraine. And well, why do you think Hunter Biden went there? To make some money. There is corruption there. The Bidens are involved in all that.
Do you have share screen that I can activate with you? I mean, I know you have your audience on radio.
Yes.
But you can verify what you see.
Okay. Yes, I have share screen.
Okay, I'm going to go up with this. Can you see me here?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay, you can verify for your audience.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, I want you to see this. Look at the article. Here's the man who handles my sister. Come on, pop up. Okay, there you go. There's Brian Fitzpatrick. Looks like Pee Wee Herman for those listening.
Yes, that's what I said.
Doesn't he look like Pee Wee Herman?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Sounds like it too. Yeah. Now look at this article. This is what's called a cover article.
I wonder if he's a jerk off too.
He's actually gay. My
Yeah.
sister brags about him being gay. When he talks on the phone, like he gives
Oh, yeah.
messages,
Yeah.
he has messages. This is exactly what he sounds like when he does his messages for he calls it his town meetings,
Mhm.
town hall meetings. He goes, "Hi, this is Brian Fitzpatrick. I'd like to invite you to our town hall meeting tonight. If you could attend, it'd be just great." That's what he sounds like.
Mhm.
Look at the face and look at the guy. This is
Yeah.
the guy. He is
Yeah.
part of that homosexual sex ring. I kid you not.
And
And
also, I
so,
guess he's involved in child trafficking too. Is that what you're saying?
yes. And so we have Fitzpatrick, who's a big fan of Robertson and Bush. What is he doing what is the FBI doing over in Ukraine? Well, it says here that he was sent, the FBI sent Fitzpatrick, who specialized in anti-corruption. What? What does that mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The congressman was assigned to Ukraine on detail with the FBI's International Corruption Unit for several months in 2015. 2015 is when they started advertising for this biolabs scientists to enter. They got their way.
What do you think
over
what do you think the biolabs are there for? Or I heard they're there to try to cure diseases.
No, that's the cover story. They're not curing diseases. They're working on smallpox, Ebola, all the others. They're creating new strains of bioweapon warfare.
That's what was said too.
That's what's going on.
Yeah.
I've got my contacts. And so look at this. It says the Fitzpatrick office confirmed an email that they trained Ukrainian investigators and prosecutors in best practices. What does that mean? Listen to that language. So what they did was, here's where it gets down to business. There was a general consensus, this is a quote, general consensus that Shokin was moving on the cases that wasn't moving on the cases that existed. He wasn't pushing for reforms. So that's why they're assassinating the character of Shokin, who's protecting. Viktor Shokin was the Ukrainian prosecutor general. Mm-hmm. He was a shield for the Ukrainian people. And so here comes Fitzpatrick. The FBI does not belong on foreign soil, goes over there in February 2015 to oust him, to get rid of him. And then it also says that, what was it? Baxter said the FBI doesn't typically take political positions, but the entire U.S. apparatus, including officials from the State Department, were pushing for Shokin to go. We were meddling in Ukrainians' affairs.
You know how many kids that are right now without parents in Ukraine that's had to leave? Sure. And where are they going? Who knows where they're going? Also, the Mexican border. We have a lot of kids coming across by themselves. And what's happening there? Where are they going? We don't have any accountability anywhere because Biden and them don't want anything to do with the border. They just want to leave it open.
That's right. And look at farther with this, though. This was supported by the law enforcement agencies, Baxter says. And listen to this. The call summary appeared to show Trump saying Shokin was treated very badly and he was a fair prosecutor. So the FBI was very angry at Trump. In this article, it shows it, for saying that Attorney General Shokin, the general prosecutor general, was treated unfairly. So there you go. So the FBI is versing Trump on that. He said that Shokin was very good. His efforts have been shot down. And there's a lot of talk that the Biden had stopped him.
Right.
And then you have Ukrainian officials. This is interesting too. FBI warns Ukrainian officials that they would not receive $1 billion in loan guarantees unless Shokin was removed.
Right. Well, right? Actually, Biden was bragging about that in an interview.
Yeah. And listen to this. Asked for his opinion, Fitzpatrick's office provided a statement that Shokin was a hindrance to anti-corruption efforts. What does that mean, Dave?
Yeah.
Listen to that. Right. Shokin was a hindrance to anti-corruption efforts? What does that mean?
I think what you're getting at, Tom, we're going to Ukraine and we're getting all this corruption, and it's like tentacles that's coming out from Washington, D.C.
Controlled by the FBI.
Yeah, controlled by the FBI.
Pentagon and FBI.
So we're showing where their tentacles are at, and then you're going to be moving more into the central body of this octopus, right?
That's right. Yeah. So for listeners, I think it's very important that we establish this was not done properly. I think we can agree, by and large, this was not done properly.
Right.
This was a witch hunt to stabilize Ukraine. And then in that same time, they couldn't wait. The FBI couldn't wait. The Pentagon couldn't wait. They set up their biolabs right away. So do we think the biolabs are for good? No. Look how this advanced to make it happen. It said the congressman's personal experience, this is Fitzpatrick, regarding former Viktor Shokin Well, that he was not cooperative with the FBI's anti-corruption efforts in Ukraine, and that he's posed a hindrance regarding numerous investigative matters. Fitzpatrick's office wrote an email. Listen to that. What does the FBI have to do with foreign soil, Ukraine's sovereignty? What do they have? Why is the FBI making a judgment call on how Ukraine's doing what they want? The FBI has no business in Ukraine.
Right. We're not saying that Putin, we're not saying that Putin's a nice guy. He's also a
no, I'm not saying he's an angel.
You know,
I'm saying the FBI is doing stuff to crimes against humanity.
Right.
This says that Fitzpatrick's office said former FBI agents are prohibited from disclosing classified or law enforcement information that has not been publicly disclosed or could pertain to ongoing matters. That's a cover for not talking what's really going on. Fitzpatrick's office did comment on the Trump-Zelensky call, offering a rebuke, while also saying the congressman opposed impeachment efforts. So what's going on is they're saying they're blaming Trump. They're using a cover article to cover for Fitzpatrick doing illegal activity in Ukraine and character assassination. And then they're going after Trump and lacing Trump as bad. Now, keep in mind that also there's an article that follows this one. This is the same time Fitzpatrick's trying to put me away, working with my sister to do so on false charges. This man's a crook. And so what happens is you've got somebody who's a congressman and also an FBI operative. You can't be both legislative and the other branch. You can't be those two things.
Well, since you come from the Hollywood part of it, Tom, what's going on in Hollywood? I see there's some actors breaking away from the main people. The main corrupt people.
Yeah.
They're starting.
What's going on right now is you actually do have a battle over the screenplay intellectual property. They're saying to me over and over, this screenplay worth over 1.2 billion puts us as a main player, as groomed to be the face of Christian coalition. So your main players are kept out of the mainstream media.
Right.
They gaslight you. They'll shut down they'll shadow ban your views. They'll try to strike your interviews. They'll do these things because they don't want people seeing who their fledgling people really are. They're concerned about. They try to get
just like they're probably they're going to do to us. We're up on a break at the bottom of the hour.
Okay.
And we're actually, like I said earlier, they were syndicated through WDY Radio, and that's Odyssey Radio .live. And Eddie Carson's buddy there, he takes care of the audio portion on that. And we put out the video portion on the other medias like Rumble, YouTube, and Facebook. And we can't put it on Truth Social because they're only 10 minutes. So this is the Dave Emmons Show, and Tom Althouse, an interesting guest and a co-host soon to be, and we'll be working that out. And we're going to be right back after this pause.